Hi, welcome to our channel Good New. In Ukraine, a lot has happened recently. The Ukraine crisis has caught the world's attention. Zelensky has also committed to rejoin NATO, breaking all past agreements. Nobody understands why they made such a choice anymore. The US and its NATO partners are certainly one of the core causes of the current situation. However, hostilities took place on Ukrainian land, implying that Ukraine, the country that followed the US, bore the brunt of the repercussions. So meticulously, it is obviously harmful to the reputation of the United States. As a result, many countries must rethink their policies in order to follow the United States' lead. However, Taiwan, a Chinese territory, appears to disagree. However, something else is happening in the meanwhile. Aquilino, the commander of the United States Indo-Pacific Command, took the China threat concept even farther. Following a provocative trip to South China not long ago, Aquilino stated that China should reject the objective of forcefully reunifying Taiwan as the biggest lesson of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Although this type of speech is undoubtedly a cliché of American politicians, the United States and its NATO allies are the primary cause of the Ukraine-Russia crisis. The situation in the Taiwan Strait is becoming more tense. Such a situation is unthinkable without the United States providing additional gasoline. However, the US appears to be more than just a source of contention. Instead of defending Taiwan, as Taiwanese leaders expect, the US administration is more interested in seeing Taiwan reunified by force while compelling China to do it. This is bad news for Taiwanese authorities and the Taiwanese people who have been affected by the US. Why would the US resort to force to reunify Taiwan? What is the best way to resolve the Taiwan issue? Continue to watch to get the answers to those questions. Let us first consider why we feel the US government intends to undermine Taiwan. Because NATO can easily and precisely strike the Russian military with Ukrainian soldiers in the Central Control Center, Russia is learning an important strategic lesson by not sending forces to protect Ukraine. This lesson has significantly shifted Taiwan's position in U.S. military strategy against mainland China. To prevent the formation of mainland China, the U.S. actively provided a large number of military components to Taiwan's strategic position, including giving offensive armament to the Taiwan military and even becoming a missile launch station to aid passage via Taiwan during battle. Even if it is counterattacked, the proxy assault will not affect the United States. After becoming government, the Democratic Progressive Party mistakenly courted and received U.S. backing. For a time, officials felt it might change Taiwan's non-independent status. However, the U.S. considers Taiwan to play a more significant role on the Ukrainian battlefield, prompting the Taiwan Democratic Progressive Party to believe that Taiwan has attained a higher standing inside the U.S. strategic framework. If Ukraine joined NATO from the start, its strategic importance would be restricted to geostrategic concerns. Even if NATO attacks Russia and then retreats, there is no way to defeat Russia in one fell swoop as long as there is no war. Instead, Russia's military actions against Ukraine were motivated by a gesture to encourage Ukraine to join NATO. Following the commencement of the conflict, the United States not only urged the rest of the world to impose sanctions on Russia and cut off its communications, propaganda, and economy, but it also provided Ukraine with a variety of information, armament, and command and dispatch in the rear. Except for the fact that the soldiers are Ukrainian nationals, the situation is nearly identical to the US actually participating in the conflict. As a result, we can draw a parallel. Taiwan's utility as a geostrategic base is limited to military capabilities for the United States. This is why, in less than a month, the United States has repeatedly encouraged Taiwan, through officials, former officials, and think tank academics, to radically alter its military preparations, including strengthening civilian combat capabilities and procuring weapons. Simply put, only by the U.S. strategic choice not to defend Taiwan, as it did not defend Ukraine, can the PLA, like the Russian army, be persuaded to fall into the U.S. trap and become the target of American strikes. However, China is not Russia. It pursues peaceful reunification, and no military reunification policy exists, despite ongoing advancements in the power of military reunification. The US will never have the opportunity to enable the PLA to fall into the Taiwan battlefield and allow the Taiwan Army to display its abilities. As a result, it is almost certain that the United States' various tactics to support Taiwan's independence will be implemented. This includes the previously worn-out plea for Taiwan to rejoin all organizations other than the UN General Assembly. If China's military takeover of Taiwan isn't enough, there may be other choices. Is there a conflict here? Although military resolution of the Taiwan issue is not yet official Chinese policy, it appears to be US policy. Because the PLA is less capable of murdering innocent people than the Russian army, and it is more difficult to advance in the face of effective opposition to the operation of the main control center, the PLA will be trapped in Taiwan for as long as military reunification is required. So, how do we address the Taiwan problem? Here's how it works. In today's culture, only liberalism may provide the legitimacy of injuring the innocent on the battlefield, and even a large number of wounds, including the innocent, may be justified, since, according to liberalism, the wounding of the innocent is what one must endure in order to protect freedom. Unforeseen costs. Russia and China, on the other hand, do not value liberalism. On the contrary, the Taiwanese military may murder with impunity in the name of liberalism. The hope for peaceful reunification of the two sides of the Taiwan Strait originates from the reality that the United States' repeated schemes for Taiwan independence, including the direct demand for Taiwan to declare it by itself, have failed in the face of the continued US aggression. Of course, no one knows what will happen. In such a situation, the DPP authorities not only rejected the Chinese mainland's nice words to persuade the mainland and the US's enticement, but also continued to conspire with international anti-China forces to aggressively build their arsenal and prepare for war, escalating tensions even further. Tsai Ing-wen, the DPP's leader, increased military spending during his reign and planned to revive the conscription system, clearly an attempt to prevent reunification by force. Taiwan will surely profit from these operations if the two sides of the strait ever conflict. The broader population suffers far higher losses. Despite the fact that the Taiwan problem has become more serious in recent years, it is still likely to be addressed in the future. China is dedicated to finding peaceful solutions to all problems, and harmony is a core value of China. As a result, we believe that the problem may be resolved eventually, but via peace rather than force. Thanks for watching in this video. You can add your ideas or suggestions below. Please keep following our channel and like our videos.